Do you ever feel burned out? With all the bills and events and responsibilities, sometimes there's just not enough of you to go around. In this week's talk, we'll show you the one big counterintuitive thing that's missing and how bringing that back can help you enjoy life again.
Have you ever gotten burned out on a food that you used to love and now it's like, no more, can't eat anymore? For me, as a teenager, we figured out that Walmart had these frozen chimichangas that you could pop in the microwave, warm them up, and it was like it was like manna from heaven. Frozen chimichangas to the Clark family. And I loved frozen chimichangas for about the first 60 or 70 of them, okay? Because they were great. Frozen chimichanga for lunch, frozen chimichanga for dinner. If you're a teenage boy, frozen chimichanga because you're hungry between lunch and dinner, all of the above. I loved it for a little while. And then I liked frozen chimichangas for another 60 or 70 of them. And then I was okay. I could kind of take it or leave it for another 60 or 70 of them. And then eventually, after a couple hundred frozen chimichangas from the frozen aisle at Walmart, I reached this point where I didn't even like them anymore. I didn't even want to eat them. You ever have this where it's on the plate and you go to get a bite and your mouth is like, no, man, no, just please no. And I remember that moment where I hit burnout on the frozen chimichanga, and my bewildered parents were like, well, I thought you guys liked these. We have 3 bags in the freezer. Can you please eat them? I'm like, I really don't want to. I have to. What happened? Okay. Anybody have something that you ate as a kid? You got so burned out as a kid, still as an adult, you're like, I'm never eating that again. No more. I'm done. You ever been burned out on a song? Why do they have to keep singing that every week at church? I'm so tired of the song. Okay. Or a commercial. Burnout. Yeah. BK, have it your way. Stop it. Right? No more. Get out of my head. Burnout happens in a lot of different areas. And when it's food or when it's a song, it's not that big of a deal. But burnout doesn't always stay confined to not a big deal areas. Sometimes it affects critical processes in your life, and it happens generally the same way, whether you're burned out on food, whether you're burned out on school, whether you're burned out on commercials. You go from something that used to be good to something that if you're still doing it, you're doing it with less motivation, you're doing it with less excitement, you're doing it with less positivity. It's kind of a, do I have to? And it's funny when it's a microwave chimichanga. It's not funny when you get burned out at your job. Ever have that? Ever have that moment where you get into the parking lot and you need a 90-second pep talk in order to get out of the car and go into the office? Anybody ever have that? Okay. That's bad if that's your career. That's really bad if you got an expensive degree to do this job and you're like, I hate this job. It's not good. Burnout's not good. Burnout is not good if you get burned out in school. If I don't graduate with a degree, I'm not going to be able to get the job in the first place. But I can't stand to even go into this class anymore. I hate this school. It's not good. Some of you guys know what it's like to be burned out as a mom. I can't do that. 3 kids under the age of 6. This is not sustainable anymore. Some of you know what it's like to be burned out as a friend. Some of you know what it's like to be burned out as a husband. Some of you know what it's like to be burned out as a human. I don't even want to get out of bed anymore. Some of you guys know what it feels like to call in sick, and you're not sick. You are just so unmotivated to live. You just can't even get yourself out of bed to do anything because nothing matters. You've lost all motivation in life. You've lost all positivity in life. You've lost all energy and excitement in life. I'm just going through the motions. Burnout. It stinks. A lot of us know what that feels like. A lot of us have been there. Some of us walked in here today just kind of limping in. Somebody that you love made you come today or made you turn it on, and you're like, I just want to hit the snooze again. If you're in a season of burnout, or someone you love, you know they're struggling, today is going to be good news for you because God designed you to live better than that. He designed a different experience than that for you. And I want to show you a passage where Jesus has a friend that is on the edge of burnout, and he realizes it, and what he tells this woman is something that not only helps her, but if we look at it today, I believe it will help you to move out of burnout or to move away from the edge of getting into that spot where you don't want to eat the burritos anymore because there's no room in the fridge for ice cream if it's full of uneaten burritos. Okay, I want to help you. Let me show you where this is at. And as you're checking that out on the Bible app or here in the room or on your fill in the blank notes, I want to take a minute to give credit to Pastor Craig Groeschel and Life Church. I first heard this idea in a sermon series that he did years and years ago, and it was so impacting on my life that I said, you know what, when I feel like the time is right, I need to present the same idea to my congregation because if it helped me, I think it will help you. They're cool guys out there. They gave us permission to use all of the media. And so today's talk is based on that idea that he presented. Okay, Luke chapter 10, Luke records this interesting moment from Jesus' life. He says, Jesus came to a village where a woman named Martha welcomed him in her home. Okay? Sounds like not a big deal until you stop and think about what's happening. How many of you guys, when you were a kid, or now that you're a parent, how many of you guys practice the art of the Nana is coming 10-minute cleaning blitz of the house? Anybody else? All right? Let me let you in on a secret. We all know that the fake house when family comes over is not your real house. Because we all make the fake house when Nana is coming. Now, sometimes you know Nana is coming 3 days in advance. And that's when teenagers, you don't get to play Fortnite for like 4 hours on Saturday because we're cleaning everything. Okay? But sometimes when Nana lives across town, sometimes you don't know she's coming until 10 minutes out. Okay? There were a few of those moments when I was a kid. And it's like, everybody drop what you're doing right now. You clean this, scrub the toilet. She's coming. Imagine the Nana is coming, except instead of your mother-in-law, it's the person that you truly believe in the depths of your heart is the Savior of the world, is possibly God on earth who is going to drive the Romans out and bring freedom to your people for the first time in hundreds of years. Okay? It's literally the Savior of the world is coming to your house. And by the way, he always travels with a huge group of people, a couple of dozen of of his disciples and their buddies and people that he picks up along the way. All of these people are coming to your house and you're hosting. Okay? Stressful. Jesus is coming to Martha's house, and like you would be, she's freaking out a little bit. All right? Verse 39, she had a sister named Mary who sat down at the feet of the Lord and listened to his teaching. Martha was upset over all the work she had to do, so she came and said, Lord, don't you care that my sister, look at this, my sister has left me to do all the work by myself. Tell her to come and help me. Any of you guys ever felt like Martha in this moment? Anybody else? Anybody else ever find yourself as the person who's saying, we both work, why am I the one doing all of the chores? Don't raise your hand, men. It will be bad for you tonight. Ladies get to raise their hands, it's okay. Men, You ever been that? Yeah, okay. Have you ever said to yourself, I'm the only one keeping this company in business. These other three guys, I'm always the one turning everything on. I'm always the one filing the reports. I don't know why they're even here. Okay. Some of you guys know what that's like. I very much relate to Martha. I am a unfortunate believer in if you want it done right, do it yourself. And I am the guy who's like, don't worry, I went ahead and did it. I did your job. I did my job. I did Dan's job. I did Kathy's job. I did 3 other people's jobs. I did the dog's job. I'm exhausted, but I'm carrying it all on my shoulders. I'm a high capacity individual. Some of you guys, you know what that's like. And it is frustrating when you're doing extra and your sister, who has 2 capable hands and 2 capable feet, is just sitting listening to Jesus. Oh, yeah, that's a good point, Jesus. You're like, get over here and help me. I'm trying to cook this stuff, and we're trying to wash this stuff. And I didn't know he was bringing 3 other new disciples. We don't have enough places to sit. We're going to the neighbors trying to find a place to sit. She is stressed. She's running back and forth like mom on Thanksgiving Day when she's trying to cook this and trying to get this. You know what it feels like. And she's upset. And she's stressed. And she's right on the edge of burnout. Okay? How many of you guys, hands raised, if you say, I can kind of relate to Martha sometimes. Yeah? Okay? If that's you, I want you to just for a minute here, I want you to pray something with me, because what I'm about to say, you have strong, thick, built-up defenses against what Jesus is about to say to Martha. But you need to hear it. I know, because I am like you. Okay? And I didn't want to hear what Jesus said to Martha, but I needed to hear it too. So if that's you, if you raise your hand, just say this with me, okay? Repeat that. You at home too. You have to say it because Jesus can hear you even if I can't. All right? Say, God, please help me to receive what you're saying to me. Okay, one more time. God, please help me to receive what you're saying to me. Okay, you're going to need help. There are some passages in the Bible where if I had a bottle of whiteout, I would white it out and I would rewrite it a little bit. It's like when they ruined the ending of the show that you watched for 3 years, and you're like, if I could just rewrite the last 2 episodes, I would fix the whole thing. I don't like this. But this is Jesus talking. Listen to what he says. Luke 10:41. The Lord answered her, Martha, Martha. Okay. Stop. Shh. Calm down, Martha. Just come here. You're troubled over so many things, but just one is needed. Mary has chosen the right thing, and it will not be taken away from her. He said, Martha, you don't realize, I realize what's stressing you out here. You are trying to do so many things. And in the mess of trying to do so many things, you have missed the one most important thing. The many is keeping you from the meaningful. Jesus looked at Martha, loving her and wanting her to be healthy, and he accurately diagnoses the problem that was causing her so much stress, the problem that was keeping her from hearing from Jesus. And I believe that the thing Martha was lacking, for many of you who feel burned out, I believe it's the exact same thing you're lacking. Okay? It's margin. It's margin. Let me define this, because this whole series, we're going to talk about this. So let me give you an operational definition of margin. Write this down in your notes. Check this out in the app. Margin is the amount available beyond what is necessary. Margin is the amount available beyond what is necessary. Okay? That is, if I could get to Nana's house with 4 gallons, I'm going to put 6 gallons in just in case. If I can get to work in 15 minutes, there's no telling what road construction is happening, I'm going to leave 20 minutes ahead just in case. if I can probably get an A on this test by studying for 30 minutes, I'm going to study for 60 minutes just in case. I'm going to have a little bit of extra capacity beyond what is necessary. Margin. It's those little spaces around, okay? You ever get frustrated because you can't fit everything you want on the page, and Microsoft Word will not allow you to move the stuff all the way over to the edge? It's margin. And you were created for margin. Now, it's a little irritating if you are good at Tetris. Forgive me for being a little bit cliche here, but this has just been my experience. How many dads out there have a skill for Tetris packing the car for family vacation? Anybody else? You're good, okay? I don't think it's a male-female thing. I think that's just the role of dads. I think God just said, I want dads to be good. Any other men? Honey, just put everything next to the car and I'll pack it in. Anybody else? Right? And then, Roger, you get the perfect Tetris. Everything lines up perfectly. And then it's like, oh, we have this one more bag. Not this time we don't. Okay? Doesn't fit. No, you don't do that. You say, I can get it in, right? No matter what it is, I will get okay? You go and you happen to go to Branson. It's like, oh, they have outlet malls here. And you come back with 3 more bags and you plan, it's all right, I can fit it in, right? We can always fit a little bit more in. We're good at that. Okay? Some of us, come on. Some of us are experts at Tetrisifying your whole life. Okay? The kid wants to do 2 sports and 2 clubs at school, we'll work it in. We need to get another subscription because this new show is only on Prime Video and I don't have, we'll work it in. There's always a way to work it in, and it's fun to do all of the stuff. But is it healthy to do all the stuff? Is it healthy? Oh, no, I don't want to talk about that. Well, we're going to talk about it. Is it healthy? Check it out. Write this down in your notes. You were designed for balance between tension and release. The body that your mind operates in, the emotional part of your brain, your intellect, all of this was designed expertly by God, and it was designed for balance between tension and release. Listen to what he says in Exodus 20, verse 9. This is part of the 10 Commandments, okay? These are like, God said, if I'm going to have highlights on the most important things to me, this is one of those highlights. Okay, put that verse up on the screen here. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath day of rest, dedicated to the Lord your God. On that day, no one in your household may do any work. He said, this is so important to me that I'm going to specify, I'm going to literally write it in stone. Work hard and then rest, because you were not designed to go a long time without rest. Now, I know what it's like to push past those boundaries. I have worked in jobs before where it was like, one time I was pushing a month with literally no days off. Some of you guys know what that's like. It's not how you were designed. I know what it's like, and I've been in those seasons where the moment I get off of work, we're like driving through the drive-through so we can get to this concert, so that we can get to this practice, so I can get to this extracurricular. And by the time I get home, it's like the kids were supposed to be down 2 hours ago. I know what that's like. That's not how you were designed. Jesus said, Martha, you're doing so many things. And you've loaded up with so many to-dos and so many things that each of them are good, but you've missed the best thing because there's no room. There's no room for the most important stuff in your life because it's too full. And if you operate outside of the bounds of your design, there will be consequences. It's just what it is. God's not being mean. He's not bringing discipline. He's not saying, you know what? If Anne-Marie would just listen, but I'm going to keep lightning bolting her with no, that's not how it works. It's just, this is how I designed you. If you do it this way, you will be healthy. If you violate the design, it's going to hurt. Let me show you a couple of areas where that shows up. We see them in Martha's life. When margin decreases, write this down, stress increases. Many of you guys, you don't need me to tell you that. You know that. We're just putting labels on it. This is why, this dynamic right here, this is why some of you guys, you love Christmas, but you also loathe Christmas. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Not if every club that you're in has a Christmas party and they're all at the same time. They need you to bake cookies, not bring them, because the real moms bake cookies, okay, for the party, and it's the work party. And then your in-laws are like, actually, we thought we'd do extra presents for everyone. Oh, I didn't know I needed to buy that for everybody. And you're and you're juggling all of this stuff. And the less space there is, the more stressful it is to fit that luggage in, okay? If you pack the back of the SUV and you've got, 12 cubic feet of space, and your daughter says, I found this really cool plushie, but it's giant. You're like, that's okay, honey. Okay. If you got every nook and cranny of that thing packed to the max, and you're like holding stuff in your lap as you're driving, and she says, hey, Daddy, I got this huge plushie. You are feeling a little differently about it. Okay? As margin in your life, anywhere in your life, decreases, stress increases. It's hard. You have to work overtime to try to fit that stuff in. It hurts. Here's another one. Write this down. When margin decreases, intimacy decreases. Okay, Martha was so busy doing stuff for Jesus, she wasn't doing stuff with Jesus. Okay? How many moms have ever found yourself doing so much for the kids you realize, I'm not really doing stuff with the kids? It's so much work keeping this human alive and clean. I don't have time to sit down and play. I don't know how these Pinterest people do all of these parties. I don't know how these Instagram and TikTok moms do all this stuff. I don't even have time. I'm not even on TikTok. How are they doing that? Okay. And here's what happens. If you are stressed to the max, then even the time that the people you love have with you, they're not getting the full you. Some of you know what that's like. You've been in a job that's asking you for more than anyone should do. You're working overtime. And when you finally come home and you have some time to just sit and talk with your wife, it's only 70% Roger because the other 30% is still at work. You know what that's like? It's hard to have meaningful relationships when there's no margin in your life. Some of the best things in life happen in the margins. And if every margin is packed to the max with everything, you just miss out. And I thought to myself, okay, none of this stuff is counterintuitive. This all makes sense. Why do we as humans have such a hard time with this? It's not just an American thing. Literally thousands of years ago on the other side of the world, Martha was having the same problem. It's a human thing. Why? Why don't we fix it? Here's a big reason, I believe. This is for me. Write this down in your notes. You can stretch beyond what you can sustain. You can violate margin for a time and get away with it. I've done it. A lot of you have done it. Okay? Christmas is coming up. You can stretch and spend more than you really should spend, and you can kind of get away with it. You can always open up another line of credit. Okay? Some of you guys, when you first got out on your own and you started working thirds, or you went to college, you discovered if you throw enough coffee and Red Bull down the pipe, you don't have to sleep as much. Right? I can burn the candle at both ends and stick more wicks in the middle, and I can burn those too. And some of you guys are such high capacity individuals by nature. Okay? Let me ask this. How many of you guys, somebody in your family is annoyingly high capacity? How do they get that much stuff done? I'm still asleep. Wake up and they're like, I mowed the lawn, I changed the tires, I went ahead and bought something new, I sold this, and then I bought another one. I found this on eBay, I bought it, I sold it today, and it's coming in the mail. You're like, my head's spinning. I haven't even had morning coffee yet. Listen, if you're a high capacity individual, this is especially dangerous for you. Because you can load up, and for weeks or months or years. You can get away with it. You can stretch beyond what you can sustain long term. If I gave you $10,000, you could spend a long time spending more than you earn. It might take you years before that rate finally catches up and you have pain financially. But if you consistently live crossways with how you were designed, there will be consequences. And those consequences can be very damaging if that burnout gets too bad. Last thing to write down is this: when you burn out, you check out. And checking out looks different on different people. Sometimes, and okay, when I say check out, okay, single young people, I'm not meaning checking out that cute girl or that cute guy, okay? That happens whether you're burned out or not. I mean, you check out of whatever it is that you're in the process of doing. Some of you guys, okay, students, some of you guys, you know that classmate, they are there in body, but their mind is never. They're just, I'm just done. Okay, some of you guys remember the football player, Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Okay, I'm just here so that, okay. Some of you guys, sometimes burnout is I'm just sitting and I'm just vegged. I'm dead inside. Sometimes burnout looks like what used to be 1 or 2 drinks on the weekend become 1 or 2 drinks every night, and 3 and 4 drinks every night. Because if you drink enough, you kind of numb yourself and you don't feel the stress and the loneliness. Sometimes checking out is doom scrolling on the phone for 45 minutes and your brain is just not even, I just don't want to adult today. Sometimes checking out is sleeping in so much every opportunity, not because you're tired, just because you're not motivated to do anything. Sometimes checking out is walking out on a job that you need with no plan for how to feed the family tomorrow because you just can't do that anymore. Sometimes checking out is cheating on your spouse because you're just burned out and you haven't invested and you feel that distance. Sometimes it's walking out on them. Sometimes checking out is a razor to the wrist because you just can't live anymore. Burnout is dangerous. And before you say, not me, Chris, not me, I can handle it. I can handle it. Other people wrestle with that. I've learned, I've done this a long time. I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Before you say that, the guy on the stage used to be that guy. Listen to me. I used to be the guy who would say, other people struggle with this stuff. I am a high capacity person and I just put it all on me, put it all on my tab. I'll pay for everything. I'll cover everything. We went through a season where we had 2 and then 3 young kids. And kid number 3 was a high risk pregnancy where Natasha was my wife. If you haven't met her yet, she was on mandatory bed rest. And I, at the time, was working between 60 and 70 hours a week at the office. It was a 30-minute drive from the house because I'm trying to do all of these things at the church and make it all the best I can make it. So I'm working 60 to 70 hours. I have a 4.5-year-old and a 2-year-old at home. When I get home, I'm not really off because I'm pitching in. I'm learning how to cook. I'm doing laundry. I'm doing all of this stuff. I'm doing P90X at like 11 p.m. at night, the home exercise thing, because I want to be fit, and that's the only time that there's left to work out. I'm sleeping like 4 or 5 hours a day. I'm getting into that spot where I get to the office after 30 minutes of driving, and I cannot remember driving to work. But if you throw enough caffeine at it and enough grit and determination, okay? And here's what happened. For years, I lived at that rate and I got away with it. I did not crash. Life was a little miserable, but I did not crash. We moved, different role, much less stress, much more balance. Kids were a little older. Wife was a little healthier. Okay? I don't have to carry all of that stuff. Life gets better. And for 2 years, things were better. And then one night, in the middle of the night, I wake up and my heart is racing and my fingers start to go numb and my toes and my feet all the way up to my arms start to go numb. I'm breathing really shallow and I'm scared. I'm like, what is happening to me? Thought something was wrong with my heart. Got up in the morning, went to talk to the guys at the urgent care. They put all the stuff on me. Nope, you look okay. Next night, it happened again. 2 nights later, it happened again, and it was so severe. Okay, I can't feel my limbs. I'm tingling. I feel so tight in my chest. There's a family history of heart problems. Okay, I'm in my mid-30s, and I woke up my wife in bed in the middle of the night. I said, call 911. I think I'm having a heart attack. The ambulance came to my house in the middle of the night. The EMTs came upstairs to my bedroom. They took me by ambulance to the emergency room, hooked up all of this stuff to me to find out what is wrong with this guy. He looks healthy. What's wrong with him? Spent a month with different cardiologists. I wore a heart monitor, which if you have ever had that, man, that is annoying, okay? Especially if you have any hair on your body. Ow! Okay? I wore that for a month, did all of this stuff. Eventually, I sat across the room with my doctor, and he said, Chris, I have good news and bad news for you. The good news is there's nothing wrong with your heart. You are fine. Your heart is healthy. So the bad news is the chemical system that controls your emotions is just completely depleted. Okay? In a broad sense, here's how it works. You have chemical signals in your brain that go to your body that say, it's time to fight or flight, right? It's time to get serious. It's time to get intense. And you have other chemicals that say, it's time to calm down now. The threat is over. And he said, dude, you were burning the calm down stuff faster than your body could produce it for so many years. You're out. You don't have any. And you have to make some serious changes to your life. And I said, can you just prescribe some medicine to fix it? I don't want to make changes to my life. I have everything right where I want it. And he said, no. You need to change how you live. You are burning yourself out. It's not even 40. I'm mid-30s. And it caught up to me. And I had to make a decision. Do I want to keep living in violation of the way I was designed? Do I want to keep ignoring the warning signals? Do I want to keep burning the candle at both ends to do everything, to try to keep everything and do all of the stuff? Or am I willing to let go of some of the stuff so that I can breathe again? And as Mark comes back up, that's ultimately, if you feel burned out, I'm telling you right now, that lack of motivation in life, that infectious just demoralization, that feeling like I'm doing the stuff, but I just feel like I'm not even living in the moment anymore. Those are warning signs that something is broken in you, and God wants something better. He looked at Martha, and with love, he said, Martha, you're doing too much. You got to make space for the things that matter the most. What a tragedy. What a tragedy if baseball and soccer and speech club caused so much distance between you and your child that those moments, that 1 year of their life, there's no intimacy and there's no relationship building there. What a tragedy. What a tragedy if all of the Christmas parties caused you to hate the Christmas season and wanted to just get over as soon as possible because it's so stressful. And we do it to ourselves. I do. I have to come back to this thought again and again because I violate it. It's my nature. I need God to help tip the scales toward health because I will keep tipping them toward more because I can handle it. But the truth is, I can't. And it's meaningful when Jesus says in John 10:10, we'll put it up on the screens, Jesus said, I came that they, that's humanity, that's you, I came that they may have life and may have it to the full. And the full he's talking about is not overloaded, I can't handle any more in life. It's talking about the full experience. It's talking about having time to be with your kids and not just do stuff for them. I mean, imagine a life where you don't feel guilty about falling into the same temptation again because you're not swatting those things like flies at a camping trip, but you have space to choose something better. Imagine getting to the end of every month and saying with your husband, okay, where do we want to spend this extra money this month? We want to give it to this charity? We want to donate it over here? We want to buy something cool for the grandkid? What would that feel like? Imagine if every day you work hard and then you have time to sit down and relax and say, man, life is good. Aren't the leaves beautiful this time of year? That's what margin looks like. That's the life that God wants for you. And sometimes you need him as a loving leader, as a father, to step in and say, hey, calm down, slow down. You're trying to do too much. There's a better life. And if you are burned out, you are not stuck there. But I'm telling you, a big part of that is having no margin in your life. You need it, and God will help you. But you got to be willing to stop and listen to him. And for some of you, I think the reason you're here today, the reason you're on this video today is so you can hear the Master say, stop. Stop trying to do more. You take some of these things off. Make the difficult decision. The next 3 weeks, we're going to look topic by topic, and we're going to help you with the practical how. But today, it's important that you just understand what you need. You need breathing room in your life. God will help you to find that. So don't burn out. Don't check out. Hear the voice of the Master and let him help you find margin in your life again. Hey there, just wanted to take a minute to say thanks for watching. If a friend sent you this link, it's because they believe what we talked about today is going to make a positive impact in your life. And if it did, there's probably somebody that you care about who could benefit from it. So take a minute to share this video with somebody. Post it to your timeline or send them a direct link. And if you're able, take a minute to give using the link at the bottom of the description on this video. One last thing. Maybe you feel a tug at your soul and you're ready to take the next step in your spiritual life and form a relationship with God. We've got folks here who would love to talk with you about it. So just text prayer to the number on your screen and we'll follow up with you. It's also in the description on this video in case that helps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.